teleporter active.
Yeah, just to push them over.
Yep.
And
Very well played.
Charge coming in already, though.
This was such a big brain play that they did.
But first,
Okay.
They TP. What was it? They TP the Diva in, and then he gets charged.
but first.
Okay, teleporter active.
Or I think they tried to bait like they were having a Rhine, like Runaway was, and then Roar was in a position on the bridge to actually just like charge whoever comes across. I don't know if they expected that.
Yeah, just to push them over. Yep. And
Very well played.
Charge coming in already, though. Very swiftly picked up that kill onto Janu.
Yeah, very well played by Panthera, just kind of predicting what was going to happen and then just instantly setting up the charge there. So it's Hoxall on the Doomfist over Summonsue as well, because Hoxall has a larger hero pool and can therefore then play more heroes as we head into C, where Doomfist is much less impactful. Going to keep Stitch for the attack here as well. Looking for the Hanzo, but cannot find a scratch on him just yet.
Yeah, not even a body tag. So, lacking.
I don't know if I've seen much Ryan Zarya on this map at all. I feel like Bumper's getting too tagged here. Like as soon as these people drop, he should be dropping, he should be playing safe, and he should be healing, because they can abuse this blue area once they have every member of the team up. So if they can retake it while the tanks are on the ground, then like they get this opportunity where they can actually dive up by glass for free with like 3 members. So like Hoxa, Janu, and Bumper can all dive up there, and there won't be any counter unless they make the rotation around with like the Ryan Zarya comp.
Get warmed back up, you know, he was subbed out for a map, so he's gonna get back into the groove of the team, but Bumper taken down. Res has to be used.
This is the strongest point for Hanzo on any map in the pool right now, is defending the dive, crushing the tanks. Oh, killing the Widows
Up
apparently
over
as
the
well.
top, yeah. Just finds that shot right on the Stitch, takes him down, Hoxall.
Ding is just in full position to now wait for the respawn to come through, get some pickoffs, look for...
Because Runaway doesn't want this trading where they're letting the Hanzo free reign. Like sure, they have a Widow to somewhat match,
Kongdoo Panthera just
but they want this. They want to basically like get to an area, heal up, and then like execute these dives where Kongdoo can't match them, because the tanks are gonna be playing on the ground. So like they poked out the tanks, and the tanks aren't in an optimal position. They need to do it again now because the tanks have reset. But you push them out, and then you go for that area that the tanks aren't going to be able to match.
The high ground jumps in. As they look to get rid of Youngjin here on this Brigida, but they can't.
Like they somewhat do it right there. Like you force the tank rotation. If like okay, tanks are here, it's like okay, let's dive blue.
Bumper up onto the high ground, jumps in.
There might have been a mix-up here on which target they actually go for.
Look to get rid of Youngjin.
Because Youngjin actually doesn't take that much damage.
Really scratched.
Granted, he is getting double pocketed.
Perfectly fine, just stay in this position.
Yeah, he's been pocketed. Ding is looking for the Sonic Arrow, scouts everyone out.
Yep. Luffy now going to be using the Transcendence as they push over to the side. Koma's going to fall. John just going to get knocked out of the mech. Shatter comes down, finds the 2. And that is just going to be the kills picked up rather easily here for the side of Kongdoo Panthera.
Kongdoo Panthera is just playing this textbook, just like we've seen it so many times. If they get the stagger here on Bumper, it'd be huge.
And they're looking for it. The K's going to get...
I think the area they don't want to fight, they want to like bait them and make them rotate like this. Like Youngjin was pretty hard to like actually force off this high ground. So like diving in this area is actually like another spot he wants to be in. But like if the Ryan Zarya are holding here, or at least the Zarya is holding here, then they have to spend this whole time rotating and potentially walking through Widowfire. So Stitch isn't in the best position for this, but he's able to actually swing out eventually. Be right here. The rest of Kongdoo are like trying to rotate in here and like match the dive, but it gives a chance for Stitch and Twilight to potentially just walk out and then like hit shots.
Luffy now going to be using the Transcendence as they push over to the side. Koma's going to fall. John just going to get knocked out of the mech. Shatter comes down, finds the 2. And that is just going to be the kills picked up rather easily here for the side of Kongdoo Panthera.
Kongdoo Panthera is just playing this textbook, just like we've seen it so many times. If they get the stagger here on Bumper, it'd be huge.
And they're looking for it. The K's...
So it's something they technically don't want, but Runaway's actually able to isolate most of the members. Like they let the Rhine get value, but they got the Mercy out in the open, which was the biggest thing for them, and it really cut down on the sustain.
Now they don't have that Reinhardt to sit behind.
That was actually really huge too, because they
And the Zarya can't get any value at all.
saved there, and they had the res. None of these things necessary now.
Jumps
Ding's
down,
caught.
seismic slam in, looking for Ding. They will be able to get him. The follow-up comes through from Bumper. They get that elimination. Now Primal Rage comes down. Hoxall gonna get locked up, gonna get eliminated before he can use the Meteor Strike. Cart 0.6 meters away. Graviton Surge comes down. The healer's gonna get locked up, but Twilight has that Transcendence to keep he and Slime alive. Will be able to survive as Stitch pops up onto the high ground trying to find that hit onto Coma, but he can't quite get it. Shatter out from Roar, but no.
Kongdoo's been kind of staggered, but this Widow hasn't been landing enough shots.
We'll have that mech break. Looking for the baby diva. Self-destruct going to be used. Janu going to make it back in.
Okay, Kongdoo's starting to get re-control of this point. We see the Meteor Strike used to buy time.
Oh, dropped it right on top of him. Hostile says, hey, what's up, guys? Finds the K and
It's very reliant on getting picks, and they weren't able to get picks for a while, but now they are, so they should be able to get up.
Alongside Youngjin, who will find a kill onto Hoxel again, but now he's here alone, and the cart should just roll through.
Like, the problem is, like, they don't have that much damage throughput against triple support. Like, they aren't able to like use like the monkey and diva to actually kill through and like kill discorded targets unless like they're hitting a punch or they're like isolating someone. Like they were able to isolate Ding on the high ground, but otherwise things are just gonna get armor packed and not die.
Because Kongdoo Panthera, if they try to split to avoid the Meteor Strike, then they just die. Or sorry, if they avoid, then they just get the completion. If you don't split, then you die. So, you know, it's just kind of basically Huxel saying, well, I want a few seconds extra time back. I am going to use this ultimate, and you're going to die to it because if you step off, we get the capture anyways. So, lose-lose there for Panthera.
For a little bit more. Ooh, Stitch is going to get taken down. Lumpy throws him a curveball. Roar charges into the back, but Hoxel is right on his rear as words are hard. Primal Rage here from Bumper. Tries to get back in, but the doorway's just a little bit too small for the big Winston.
So it gets picked here, but this Ryan Zarya comp, I'd say, isn't that good at recontesting. I'd say like the only way Stitch dies right here is probably just getting right clicked. But they can buy so much room with all of the members playing aggressively as they do, playing all in this area, basically occupying them the whole time, giving themselves a like free push, that they get good value regardless if they lose the Widow or not. And if they just like reset on the high ground here, like everyone plays the high ground, they just isolate Ding, who basically is going to be the only one playing the high ground, as the rest of the team is going to be playing on the ground.
The alley-oop as he leaps forward, now push forward onto the cart for Kongdoo as they try to regain control before it has to exit as the Discord orb comes down. Meteor Strike looking for a pick-off, looking for the Mercy. Coma gonna go low, rocket punch in, finds the hit, can't take him down, but finally does manage to get him. Coma and Luffy both gonna be eliminated. Just charges over, finds Roar, hits him with the uppercut, knocks him out.
Seen a lot of Huxall's Doomfist over the course of Korean Overwatch history, and it's coming up big tonight. Now they've secured B, 3:36 on the clock. They get the stagger kills. This should guarantee Stitch control of the high ground. There's almost no way that could be denied. Kongdoo Panthera are not going to swap to their own Widow defensively because they know line of sight has already been given to Stitch. They're going to look for this tank comp to do well, but it could backfire big time if these ults don't come up big, especially for Decay, who has it now. They have the combo.
Waiting for the call.
Such a smart move here by
Should be told that
I don't know why Kongdoo isn't switching to dive tanks.
Coma, he goes so low.
Seems like their ability to get like room is going to be like pretty tough. Because like the Ryan Zarya are like forced to hold like pretty awkward angles where I'd say like dive tanks are just able to like have some like choices of what they actually want to do.
Have that Mercy up there, body tag onto Coma, he goes so low.
Baiting with Stitch so that he gets an opportunity.
Traps on search set to go here from Decay. The DPS duo come up with kills as Luffy and Ding both going to be eliminated. Where it's going to be used by Coma. In onto the Hanzo. So dangerously low is Roar as he tries to stay alive. The Dragon Strike, however, from Ding is going to alleviate that pressure because he comes up with a triple kill, make it a quad. And Stitch will also go down. Can't get the killing blow onto, he gets a killing blow onto Janu after they pop him out of the mech.
I mean, that was really well played by Kongdoo Panthera, but again,
already.
They had to use all their ultimates. But the most important part, and why it's worth it, is because Stitch doesn't have full line of sight. He's going to have to use his infra sight to gain some information.
I feel like Runaway with their ult bank should just be able to win right here. Like they jump the high ground right here while Ryan is on the low ground and Widow grapples up and she should be able to free reign. Exactly like that.
There is an Earth Shatter ready to go. The bubble's going to be dropped already. Roar actually does drop the hammer off screen. Doesn't look like he comes up with anything, and Stitch finds Coma. Now they're going to get taken out of the mech.
Humper playing to isolate someone.
Stitch keeps sniping away. Twilight finds another one. Pops that Transcendence to keep everybody else topped up over here by the cart. They have to kite their way back. Stitch goes up onto the high ground yet again. Graviton Surge set from Decay, but he can just hold this because they are maintaining control for the moment.
That was really well played by Roar. He didn't get the shatter to really do much, but his barrier placement there and the ding follow-up damage allowed Stitch to do nothing. You know, he was.
I think they just want to buy time. Like, they don't want to overcommit and actually like do what they did, where it was like Bumper and Janu and Hoxa all trying to like dive things on the ground. I think they really just want to like get room and then use that room for Stitch, and then just play to occupy Decay and Luffy, who just are this only kill pressure, and then everyone else plays to just like live and sustain.
This time with the Hanzo, and Bumper's jump up here isn't going to accomplish anything. I don't think he's really going to commit to this, although I'm wrong. Here he goes.
Over onto the high ground with the Graviton Surge. They find the kill on the Janu.
They don't want to give Decay these rotations on Grav where they have a chance to lose.
I mean, sure, this Hanzo is being so instrumental to the success of this defense from Kongdoo Panthera.
Oh, now they're going to stagger further, but you know, that wasn't required to get the defense, but he's building these so quickly that basically why the hell not use it in this situation when you have the combo available? It's your only time you're going to have a guaranteed grab because you know where they're all standing because you have the Sonic Arrow for vision. So wasteful in some senses, but it does burn through so much of Runaway's time bank here. Huxall's holding again another Meteor Strike. And this time Kongdoo Panthera does not have the ultimates to shut down the push. Stitch should be able to get onto that high ground. In fact, he will.
Roar rejoins with his squad. Huxall goes forward to try to disrupt them. Has that Meteor Strike ready.
Hoxa hasn't been getting much value. I'm wondering if the play is to play Sombra here if you're Runaway, and then maybe hack like Ryan, and then like basically open up the opportunity to like have the team not hide behind the shield, and then that's the Widow. That's the chance you give to the Widow to shoot, rather than like having Hacksaw have to like dive in and potentially get Brig stunned or like Hanzo headshot, which hasn't been as effective. And Brig's been basically eating up that room on the left.
Shatter is set. Roar looking for the opportunity. She's going to drop it. Finds one pin in onto Janu, taking that back low, and will take him out of it. Twilight also eliminated on the back.
Yeah, they keep having fights here down on the ground.
Pushes up around the corner, just trying to build up for the
Like, they definitely just need to be playing the bridge, like, at all times, and then basically have the members. So, like, I think the play is to basically zone them out here, zone Kongdoo out here, and then have their team basically take this high ground and then take the bridge high ground so that they can play both of it, and then basically force the Ryan Zarya to be, like, inactive in the fight. There's too many chances that they're playing on the ground and giving the Ryan Zarya a chance to just walk up and shatter Janu or kill Twilight. And
25 seconds remaining as they try to complete this final stretch of Gibraltar.
I don't know what Huxall is going to switch to. It's going to be the Pharah to try to circumvent Roar on this Reinhardt, but it's going to be a risky call. There is no way to shut down a Pharah, technically speaking, on the side of Kongdoo Panthera, but getting into position is going to be the hardest challenge, when now they're going to have even further problems with Ding on the Hanzo. Stitch actually going to try to counter him as well with a McCree swap, but it's so risky here at this late stage. 2 seconds to go. Cart is tagged.
Couple hits in. Dragon Strike might just be able to push them all off of it. As the body shot comes in on a Hogsalt, can't get the execution. Drops down, Grab comes in, it's just Twilight by himself. Has that Transcendence up to try to stay alive. But 3 members going to be popped.
Late stage, 2 seconds to go. Cart is tagged.
Couple hits in. Dragon Strike might just be able to push them all off of it. As the body shot comes in on a Hogsalt, can't get the execution.
I think the trans is probably popped too late. I think he has to probably use it to keep the mech up so that there's a chance they can eat the dragon. And like get a very aggressive dive, but the problem is like the squishies end up just getting like isolated with the grav. So trans doesn't end up getting too much value. Runaway ends up playing into Decay and Ding too much on that last point. They play the low ground way too much when they have dive tanks, and they can play to abuse it.
Maybe a Hanzo swap now? Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. As Youngjin will look for hooks.
Nothing yet, but just given a lot of space to work with. Runaway playing back. Sad there's no Torbjorn.
Huxall, after seeing this comp, switches back over to the Genji. Yeah, I'm sad too. But Youngjin's going to make the swap over to Genji to match him. This is going to be a 1v1 that's going to be great to watch.
A lot of swapping coming through. Push forward, getting ready to round the corner. The barrier takes a...
So basically the opposite was played here. So like they played like a mirror somewhat on the other side, where it was like Ryan Zarya on the ground versus like the Winston Diva that were playing the high ground. But the side switched. And they're basically doing a similar thing where they're just touching the point, coming back up, and then the Reinzari is still trying to engage into the server. So they're both playing to their own win conditions really well. The problem that happens is they basically just isolate their own Hanzo so hard. With putting all of them in server, there's no way he can get any help.
Very well played by Runaway.
They can get an isolation here on Aurora. He's by himself over by the cart. Over Harmony's in onto him. They offer up the Zarya bubble, but it's not going to be enough. Janu just runs him over. Now looking for the Mercy.
The composition,
They get Coma, they get Youngjin.
the composition the Panthera is running is not a meta comp because you can't protect your two DPSs, which are doing two different things at two different places, with a comp that has tanks that are immobile. So they're going to swap Youngjin back to the Roadhog, but the indecision here from Panthera and the comp they built that had no theme cost them a lot of time. Runaway just splits them apart and crushes them.
This hog could be used as like a way to bait Janu and then try to hook him. Like use the Reinzari to push them off and then try to hook them if they get a chance. Oh, he tried. It was close. They're getting progress, which I think Kongdoo is seeing as a good thing, but they're able to come back and contest as they've like wiped Kongdoo's backline every fight, and then touch the point, and then it's going to be hard for them to rotate and touch the point again. Like it could be a play to basically just bait the backline, and then play to just keep Decay alive, because they're like, Runaway is just playing to kill Ding, Coma every single fight, and they're basically leaving Decay alone to like farm, Grav, and the play could just be let them die every fight, we'll get our combo, we can win at the 2-minute mark, which I guess they technically have now, which works, but it is looking very strange.
Decay's got a Grav, but it won't matter if they can't either demech Janu or stun him with a huge shatter. They can hook him out of position to block it as well with Youngjin, but the Grab is everything for Panthera, and Runaway has so many ways to shut it down. Deflection could even be one. Hoxall still in this game.
Maybe the play is to hook the Diva? Hook the Diva and then go for the Grav combo.
Wrapping around the side, looking to go back onto the low ground to get towards the cart, but Hoxall again with this Genji pick. This guy has woken up. Runaway up with 2 more kills, both supports eliminated.
Runaway has so much mobility, and when Panthera is operating just on a Grav and Decay is flanking, it means he's not peeling. And if he's not peeling, then Hoxall can go wherever he wants. He can fly around the map, do massive damage, and that's exactly what he did there. Gets those dash reset kills. Panthera still holds ultimate, still hold the tools, but they're going to have to stick together as a
Yeah.
unit.
They've just been able to play the high ground, really abuse his backline.
Just can't be split off, or they're going to get killed when he is cut off. Janu's the first target here. They want to stop that D-Matrix. He's swinging around the right side.
Sticks over onto the side. Janu playing forward. Shatter comes in. Now it's going to be the grab, pinning him into the wall. The Dragon Strike rolls through. Youngjin finding 2 with a whole hog. Runaway trying to make their way back into the back. Here is Janu. Manages to do so. Stays alive. He's the sole tank right now for Runaway. Twilight going to get taken out. Janu popped out of the mech again, and now Slime going to die to the Fire Strike. Seems like the completion just a few moments away as that swing comes.
Kongdoo basically put themselves on a clock here. They don't have much opportunity to win at this point, unless they do exactly what they did, was basically just like force extremely hard, which I guess they kind of forced themselves to do with the Lucio, because their healing is really bad with this triple tank, so they need to like force onto the cart, like what they did, force Runaway to touch the point. Like Janu is going to be forced to touch. They play to stun him as he's on the point. He technically probably could have gotten tranced again here. Don't translate, trance early, so he can keep his mech. But they were in a situation where it was very hard for them to win, and then Kongdoo does win because they basically dump 5 ults to play to counter everything Runaway could have done. I think the only way Runaway wins is if they trance mega early, keep the suit up, and then play to just lengthen this fight out where Coma isn't going to get enough healing off to keep this triple tank up. And potentially Hawksaw can use a blade to win.
Just a few moments away as that swing comes down. So 2:55 on the clock for Kongdoo Panthera. A great start on that defense for Runaway, but they need to make sure that they hold them here in the hangar because if they make it through, it's not very far to go to get the win.
Certainly true. That's from Coma onto Lucio as well. Made all of this possible. The speed boost to get into position. The shatter, as I mentioned, to knock Janu down, then grab. The combo was perfectly coordinated from Kongdoo Panthera. We haven't seen them this coordinated since Apex Season 3. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Luffy's going to make an odd swap, actually, to the Moira here, just for more sustained healing to make this comp tougher to deal with.
Wave coming down, Hawksaw looking for the hits. He's going to get hooked in. The pin comes down and Roar shuts him out. Been great Genji play overall from Hawksaw leading up to this moment. As soon as we see that blade come down, he just can't do anything.
I think that, yeah,
Season 3, it's a beautiful thing to watch.
like if Runaway tries to force as hard as they do with the blade, then it's going to be really tough for them to go into this quad tank.
Sustained healing to make this
I feel like Janu tried to poke out Luffy, but like they didn't commit enough to him early on, and then Decay's able to get peeled for. It's like Hawksaw gets hooked and then pinned, so his blade doesn't actually get up that much value, and I think that was their only win condition here.
Roar shuts him out.
Once the tanks are already all on the ground, then they just get shattered, and there's not a lot they can do anymore.
As soon as we see that blade come down,
They can't match the sustain.
can't do anything. Runaway getting stomped out. Slime going to go down. Extra stagger coming through, and Hawksaw going to abandon the Genji. Swaps over back to the Doomfist.
How can you not get hype, those at home, about the coordination that we are seeing in Panthera tonight? They are just doing step by step everything you do.
Rage coming down, barely manages to try to get that halt here onto the cart, but it just does not happen. Just a little bit too late with Bumper. Now
Everything-
they lose the ultimate on the Winston.
Everything is a step-by-step process to defeating Runaway here. Charge coming through for Roar. They're spawn camping him now.
Pushing through, they're looking for the knockoffs here with the whole hog. Push that one out. Twilight with the Transcendence trying to keep everybody alive. Will be able to do so as they move back up over onto the corner. Hawksaw finds the hit on the Roar, takes down the enemy Rhine as they push them back over towards the gate.
Now they built a lot of ultimates.
I think Runaway switches here.
Well, that was a bit crazy. That was a bit overzealous. But that was
Slime's gonna get a lot of ult charge, but at the same time, he needs to.
just wants the remake. They want this to be the push.
Like, they probably need Lucio Moira, if anything.
Grab.
Not gonna be able to sustain.
Down, and they manage to find
If
the
anything gets hit, yeah.
Stitch now gonna be dead. Janu very far forward, but he's all on his lonesome. Will get popped out of this mech, and they could just leave him to his own devices, but they will go ahead and kill him off. But they just have to round this corner. That's effectively it.
Oh,
That would be
Bumper
a lead
surge.
coming in. Youngjin still gonna be alive. They get the kill on the Bumper. Runaway. Things not looking good for them. They have to hold this off for 2:23.
We need to see a big bio grenade. I think that's their best shot at this.
Hawksall's dead. He was playing alone. Cart 4.2 meters away. Still inching forward. Self-destruct going to be thrown down. Janu not going to be able to make it back into the mech. Stitch playing forward, trying desperately to get to that Graviton Surge. Shatter comes down. Bumper is going to die. Stitch gets the grab, tosses it in. As they try to get
Slime's
this fight.
still alive
Slime
somehow.
is hit onto the cart. The meteor strike coming down. You got to rejoin immediately here, Hawksall. He drops back in. He gets a little bit of shielding. The sound barrier comes out from Slime. Pin looking to be found here by Roar. Not gonna get
I don't know if there's anything Runaway can do here technically.
nearly with another Graviton Surge of his own. Now there's no demon to work.
This indicator is like not seen on the ground. It's really garbage. Like, I can't see it at all. It's technically there. Like, it should be like here or something, but I don't see it at all. So this is actually like, it's pretty hard to judge how good the fight is like going because you don't see it at all. But so
4.2 meters away.
I think the play is basically like they don't have a lot of room to do much, so like they lose their members, they like have to contest.
Get the kill on the Bumper. Runaway. Things
The play is to like use Hawksaw basically. If he can get a combo and like get ult, that's good for him. Sacrifice Janu next to like Diva Bomb because like he can basically go down to 0 HP Diva Bomb, and then hopefully Stitch can get enough energy to get a grab, and that's their win condition basically.
23.
We need to see a big bio grenade. I think that's their best shot at this.
Hawksall's dead. He was playing alone. Cart 4.2 meters away. Still inching forward. Self-destruct going to be thrown down. Janu.
Where is Twilight?
3.
We need to see a big bio grenade. I think that's their best shot at this.
He's unable to heal Hawksaw.
Playing alone. Cart 4.2 meters away. Still inching forward. Self-destruct going to be
Janu
thrown
gets
down.
melted really quickly.
Not going to be able to make it back into the mech. Stitch playing forward, trying
I think they're just launching people, and like knocking them all over the place, so Twilight actually isn't able to heal them that efficiently. I'm just watching his heal numbers. Like, he's hitting heal darts, I guess. But they're getting knocked around a bunch as well, so some aren't hitting.
Slime's still alive somehow!
Is hit onto the card, the meteor strike coming down. You gotta rejoin immediately here, Hoxel. He drops back in, gets a little bit of shielding. The sound barrier comes out from Slime. Pin looking to be found here by Roar. Not gonna get anybody. Falls low, but gets sustained back up. The K nearly with another graviton surge of his own. Now there's no demon to work.
Yeah, that wasn't a lot. Runaway could have done there. Kongdoo actually played that really well with the